Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm right now on my legend push, trying to reach the 3,000 elo mark, see if I can become the first streamer to legend once again this season. I've been the first streamer to legend for the last 3 seasons now. It's a hard grind to do. There's a lot of us very close right now, but there's only about 10 legends in the world, so it is very hard to find battles at the top, and so there's queue times, there's a lot of very good battlers you have to face. It's one of the hardest things you can do in this game. So let's take a look at the battles and see what this Shadow Jumpluff team can do. Alright, well, speaking of the first streamer to legend, we are fighting another streamer here in our first battle of the day, up against the Pokemango, one of the best battlers in the world. Looks like we led into a Malamar, and we have a Shadow for Alligator on this safe swap. We don't actually have a hard answer to this, so what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to come in with our Dunsparce, which you might expect to be a good answer because we do resist Shadow Claw, but as you can see, these Hydro Cannons are able to two-shot us here, which is very annoying because it means that they can outpace us, they can get shield advantage if they want, and they can make our lives very uncomfortable here. They do throw another move. I'm actually going to let this go, however. I know I can Shadow Claw this down, and since there was a Malamar in the lead, I'm not that worried necessarily about a Malamar as long as I get an energy lead with our Shadow for Alligator, and I know that Shadow Jumpluff is very flexible, even in some of the worst matchups it can be in. As long as we have energy advantage Gator, and we have our two shields, we should be in a good spot here. We see that he actually comes back in with the Malamar. This is actually pretty good for us because we have the energy lead, but this Hydro Cannon will not one-shot, unfortunately. It does put him pretty low, but they are able to reach a superpower here. I'm going to shield up because I feel like my Feraligatr, with how much energy I have, can still be pretty useful to us here. They go for a foul play, in comes an Ariados. We try to go for the swap at the same time as them, and we see that they are going to try to throw lunges at us, but I am going to throw my Aerial Aces first, try to get it off before a debuff comes through. Luckily, Lunge is only neutral. These Poison Stings are super effective, but Lunge being neutral means that they have to throw 2 moves to knock us out, even though their fast move pressure is adding up here. I obviously am using Fairy Wind, which means I have no fast move pressure whatsoever against this Poison-type Pokemon, but these Aerial Aces will add up very quickly. You can see it basically 2 shots at this point. I did get that CMP here, so I'm going to shield, guarantee that I can either take their last shield or get them very low if they let this move through. I am double debuffed, so they might survive this attack, but if they let it through, I can just Shadow Claw everything down and likely win the game with our Shadow for Alligator. They do let it go, I come back in, I Shadow Claw them down. If that Malamar comes back in now, we are going to be able to fast move it all the way down, take the win in game number 1. Oh my goodness, another streamer, another YouTuber here. Mr. Rise to occasion. Another good lead, though, against the Shadow Machamp. This is going to be very critical that we keep switch advantage if we can, or if we can't, get some sort of shield advantage this game, because I know that Shadow Machamp can really put in work depending on what might be in the back. I know that also our Dunsparce into the Shadow Drapion is a great matchup. We can go for these drill runs. It doesn't quite one-shot, but after these rollouts, they will start adding up quite a bit, and a drill run will be a very strong hitting move against this Drapion. I know I can survive this attack. He already shielded my first move. Since they didn't get the defense drop, this Crunch will barely not knock us out. I can reach this move, either take both shields, or get shield and switch advantage against the Shadow Machamp team. This drill run does actually end up getting shielded. He gets the full Poison Sting down against us, but I know at this point I have 2 shield Shadow Gator. He will get 1 shield back with this move, likely going to be a Crunch. He might bait with an Aqua Tail if he's crazy, but no, it is a Crunch, and he does get that defense drop, which could actually be a little bit annoying here depending on what plays out this game. They actually come back in with the Shadow Machamp. They didn't want to give us the ability to knock out their Shadow Drapion. I will gladly take the Hydro Cannon against them here. Could have overfarmed maybe a little bit extra, but I'm fine with this. Just get it out of the way. I am defense dropped, so I don't want to take too much damage if I can help it. What is going to come back in? In comes that Shadow Drapion. Unfortunately, because I did not overfarm against that Shadow Machamp as much as I could, he does reach another Crunch here. I have to shield it up, and now as long as our Shadow Jumpluff in the back is not hard-walled by whatever it is, we should be in a decent spot. But if there is a Jumpluff answer, this could get a little bit dicey. In comes the Dugong. I would say for a fact that is an answer to our Shadow Jumpluff, but we can come in with Jumpluff here, get an Energy Ball. I think I can survive this Icy Wind. It might be very effective against us, but Jumpluff is very bulky despite being a Shadow Pokemon. We reach this move. It's going to do a lot of damage, but after a debuff, I know for sure this doesn't even knock them out. They do survive it. They're in the yellow. I can do 3 Shadow Claws, throw this Hydro on CMP, and guarantee the knockout against this Dugong, just barely overcoming that very tricky core breaker there in the back. GG's to Rise. 2 very tough battles here to start out the day. Alright, next match, we're going to see that we have our Shadow Jumpluff in the lead against an Azumarill. Alright, a lead that you might expect to be very strong for the Grass-type Pokemon here, except this Azumarill will have access to Ice Beam. Ice Beam, a very hard-hitting move, and it will likely put us all the way deep into the red if I let it through. Energy Ball will go through. Actually, they end up shielding that move. I'm going to try to catch an Ice Beam here. Unfortunately, they do not fall for it, and they come in with a Poliwrath, ABA Water, using a very unique Pokemon here. We don't see Poliwrath around too much anymore, which honestly I'm very happy about. It was a very polarizing Pokemon in previous metas, but now it is so slow. In my opinion, it doesn't even matter that they get a move here. This is just going to be an Icy Wind. I survive it, and despite them resisting all of our charge moves here, our fast attacks are doing so much damage, and Hydro Cannon is just such a good move. It doesn't even matter what they're doing to us here. We do get a shield, both shields down from our opponent here, and now Jumpluff should be able to come in, shield, farm them down. Hopefully they don't get off 2 moves here. Obviously, Icy Wind will debuff our attack stat, but Fairy Wind was buffed. We're a Shadow Jumpluff. Hopefully we can farm them down, have energy for their backline, and be in a good spot this game. They do end up getting fully farmed down here. We have a lot of energy on our Shadow Jumpluff. Back comes in that Azumarill. I'm going to throw the Energy Ball, because obviously at this point I want to make sure this lands, and now if they do throw an Ice Beam, I probably will have to shield at this point to keep our Jumpluff alive, and because I know that Jumpluff plus Dunsparce can beat almost anything as long as I keep my Jumpluff pretty healthy. I'm going to throw this Energy Ball. It won't maybe knock out because we were debuffed. I'm not quite sure if this is going to be enough here for this Azumarill. They do end up getting knocked out there. Okay, just barely. And in comes our final Pokemon. It's going to be the Diggersby. Fantastic Pokemon to see, saying that we have our Jumpluff here. They were actually triple weak to grass types with this team, although our Jumpluff here, not exactly the best grass type for a couple of those Pokemon, being so weak to the ice type damage. And now we are going to see a Fire Punch come through. I know for a fact I actually survived this move. I can likely get off another Energy Ball, or I can catch a Fire Punch here on our Dunsparce. I'm one Fairy Wind away from getting to another move on our Jumpluff, so if they don't have perfect energy management, I can knock them out there. And even if they do, I can probably just get to 2 Drill Runs with our Dunsparce into Diggersby, and what that's going to do is easily knock them out, despite them throwing a lot of charge moves here. They're going to have to dump a lot of energy with Scorching Sands to knock us out. Luckily, no debuff there, meaning that I can knock them out with 2 charge moves. They realize at that point it is over. Oh my goodness, the next opponent, this is Beelzeboy, 4th place champion from the World Championships this last season, one of the best battlers in the world, and he is using a very spicy Pokemon here. That is a Lucario. Luckily, we have our Shadow Jumpluff, which is going to be our best answer to this here in the lead. Hopefully, we can land this Aerial Ace, put them into farm down range, but they do end up shielding that first attack. If they throw a move at this point, this could be a Shadow Ball. It would do a catastrophic amount of damage, and knowing how weak I am to this Lucario in the back, I am going to shield it up. We see that they come in with a Cresselia. I could have gone for like a chip and dip play there, but I know at this point, if I get some sort of energy lead on Gator, or if I just keep switch advantage, I can easily knock out that Lucario. I just know that I don't want my Dunsparce against it, so I'm going to come in Dunsparce and try to neutralize this as much as possible. You might expect Cresselia, one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the game, very neutral powerhouse, to just destroy Dunsparce. But for some reason, with the rollout buff, with how much damage it does, and how much damage Drill Run does just as a neutral move, Dunsparce really keeps up here. Another Drill Run lands. You can see they're almost already in the red at this point. We're fast moving them down very low with our rollouts, and now we can no-shield this. I know for a fact we can survive a move here. We probably couldn't survive 2 at this point. Yeah, it looks like another Grass Knot would knock us out, so I'm going to throw this Drill Run here on alignment. I know I could have probably gone for another rollout there to throw in good timing, but I think they actually did have a move right then, so I wanted to make sure I could get it off first. Great counting by them. They knew right when I was about to get my next attack. They're going to throw this Grass Knot, but I know I can probably Fairy Wind this down before they reach a Moonblast. If they throw a move after 1, it can only be a Grass Knot. I can no-shield it, take almost no damage, and have a lot of energy left over on our Shadow Jumpluff. I'm hoping right now they come back in with their Lucario, which it looks like that's actually what happens here. Very surprising. It means that they're probably a little bit weak to our Shadow Jumpluff in the back, but the fact that they stayed in the lead so long probably implied that anyway. I can throw yet another Aerial Ace. If they shield, I think I'm going to match shields as well. If they no-shield, then we get to see the final Pokemon here. They just let their Lucario go, and in comes their final pick. It's going to be that Diggersby. I have my Grass type. I have a Water type as well. I'm going to go for the bait here, because I know that Fire Punch is a very spammy move. If I go for the bait, I can likely land an Energy Ball. Oh, great call by them, though. No-shielding that, making sure that they actually are going to be able to survive that move. If they would have taken an Energy Ball, it would have been a catastrophic move for them to let go, but now I'm going to shield it up, and I do have the Energy Ball anyway. I'm very certain I'll either get a shield here, or basically a knockout. They do end up shielding that attack, and now that shields are down, and even though it was only an Aerial Ace that I landed, I know that they're going to be in Hydro Cannon range as long as an attack drop does not come through here. We do take a Scorching Sands, but no attack drop happens. We go for the Hydro Cannon, guarantee that this is going to land, and it's going to do a catastrophic amount of damage to this Diggersby, take them out actually just from that range. Diggersby is very bulky, but Shadow Hydro Cannon, it is very hard to overcome. Our next game, oh my goodness, another fantastic lead here. The Jumpluff into the Pangoro. Obviously, Fairy is very strong against a Dark and Fighting type Pokemon. They actually Say-Swap here with their Shadow Feraligatr. I'm going to try a different play. Last time I went just instantly into Dunsparce. This time I'm going to do an Aerial Ace chip and then come into our own Feraligatr. This way I can hopefully just take a Hydro Cannon and pace evenly here to these moves. We do CMP. I actually lose CMP, which kind of surprised me. I normally win these CMPs because I have a bit of attack on my Gator, but since they win it, they do get to throw their move first, but I do still have a little bit more health than them, so I know they can't really farm us down. They do end up shielding that attack. Very interesting play. I guess they do want to get both shields from me, or I guess one shield from me here. We did get one shield from them, and now their switch clock is up. They get a full farm down against our Gator before we get to a Hydro. That is a perfect farm down for them, but I do have my Jumpluff here, right? Jumpluff will be able to come back in, hopefully farm them all the way down. Well, I'm not quite sure if I can farm them all the way down from here. I'm going to try if possible, but these Night Slashes do add up quite a bit. Might have to throw a move here in just a second. If they go for like a close combat for a little bit of extra damage, I'm going to try for the farm down. That is exactly what they go for. Hopefully I get the farm down here, but at the last second, they actually reach an aerial, or a night slash rather. This is going to knock us out if we let it through. Probably should have just thrown an aerial ace before they got that move off. But we have 100 energy here on our Jumpluff. We see that their final Pokemon comes in. It's a Clodsire. This is actually not that bad. We get this chip damage off, which puts them close to range where I can knock them out here with 2 drill runs. If they let this move through, they're probably going to be in single drill run range. So if they don't shield this, Dunsparce is going to have a lot of play here in the back. They end up shielding that second move. And now as long as they don't catch an attack here with our Dunsparce, which they try to do, but we see it coming from a mile away, we can just farm down there for Alligator, go for this drill run, and now double drill run will likely knock out this Clodsire, taking us the win here in this game. The first drill run comes through. It might not get knocked out by the next move, but I know for a fact there's no way that we're going to get knocked out here by 1 move. So we can likely get to 3 drill runs because we called that catch there, and now this drill run does come through. Will it be enough to knock out? I'm not quite sure. Clodsire is very bulky. It's a non-stab drill run. Doesn't knock out, just barely, but we do reach the 3rd drill run right before they're going to reach a move. This will easily knock them out here and secure us the victory here in this game. Very, very close match, but Jumpluff just showing what it can do here. Next game here, Shadow Jumpluff into the Malamar. This is a lead that I really like to see, but it is a little bit tricky if they stay in and they have something weak to our Jumpluff in the back, because honestly, even though we're doing super effective Fairy Wind damage, you can see just how much damage these Psywaves are doing. Psywave, one of the best moves in the game, if not just like the best move in the game. It's a one-turn version of Shadow Claw, and Shadow Claw was already kind of an overloaded move with how strong it was, so it is a little bit scary here, taking all of this Psywave damage, and this Foul Play almost has already put us into range where we're going to be knocked out by the next move. I'm going to overfarm as much as possible, throw this ace. Hopefully it's going to be enough to knock them out here. If they survive, that's a little bit uncomfortable, but they do get knocked out. In comes their Shadow for Alligator. I can go for the chip damage. I was hoping to get a shield here with this aerial ace, but I don't think they end up shielding, unfortunately. Yeah, they do let it through. I come in with our Dunsparce. I'm also not quite sure with this play, because they might have a hard answer to Dunsparce. I've seen some people run Diggersby in the back with Malamar. If it is a Diggersby after taking this Hydro Cannon, we're going to be in a very uncomfortable spot. I guess I manifested it here. We're going to see that Diggersby, unfortunately, in the back. Drill runs are going to do their best, but I don't think they even 4-shot a Diggersby from full health here, which means that we're going to have to go for 4 drill runs plus a lot of fast move pressure, and this is going to be very uncomfortable having 2 shields on this Diggersby. Especially because we have almost no health left over on our Jumpluff. It's going to have to be Shadow for Alligator to do anything this game, and they still have their Gator left over. I'm hoping right now this is just a Fire Punch that they're going to throw against us here, but no, it's a Scorching Stance, which is so bad. They get the knockout, and this is not fast move farm down range for anything on my team. I have no fast move pressure into Diggersby with the 3 Pokemon that I have. I'm going to have to try to shield up Scorching Stance here, but they end up going for a Fire Punch bait. A crazy bait, but I guess it works out for them. Makes it so they get these moves a little bit quicker here. This is going to be very scary to see if there's going to be any chance for us to win this game. I go for a Hydro Cannon. It does get shielded, and unfortunately they do reach the move right before we do. I think at this point they might have me here. They just have a bit too much energy on this Diggersby. They probably get to 3 moves before I get to my 3rd move here, and if that is the case, I think that I'm just completely done this game. They have that Shadow for Alligator as well, with a bit of energy, and my Jumpluff is so low in the back. If they land the Scorching Sands, which it looks like they just did, I think that we're going to be put into fast move farm down range, likely lose this game just to sheer fast move pressure. We do throw this move, it's going to knock out this Diggersby, but unfortunately I think that Shadow for Alligator way too healthy at this point. We can try to get to an aerial ace here, but unfortunately for us they do have that Hydro Cannon. Even if they didn't though, I think they probably would have fast moved us down before we would have reached that aerial ace, so they do take us out this game. They Shadow Claw down our Gator, and there's not much we can do at the end of the game there. We had a good lead, but unfortunately our Shadow Jumpluff was so good, but it was just not able to do enough. We see a terrible lead this time, and a terrible counter swap for us as well. We saw that Shadow Alolan Sandslash here into our Grass and Flying type Pokemon, probably the worst lead we could see, and this is one of the best answers actually to a Feraligatr, but I was counting. I knew that was only 7 counters. I knew at most that might be an Ice Punch, but no, it was a Power Up Punch, which means not only can we land this one move here, we can land yet another Hydro Cannon, likely either drawing a shield or flipping Switch Advantage. They do end up shielding that next move. I'm hoping right now that I can fast move them down with their Jumpluff before they reach a boosted Icy Wind against our Shadow Jumpluff, but I'm thinking at this point, yeah, this is going to be an Icy Wind. I have to shield it, even though our Jumpluff is useless against that other Pokemon. I can't really just rely fully on Dunsparce here, because they're kind of weak to Dunsparce in the lead, right? I wouldn't expect them to be ABA weak to it, so keeping Jumpluff alive is probably going to be the play. Dunsparce does come in, but they're staying in. They chip us down with an Ice Punch, and they reveal their 3rd Pokemon. Okay, it's going to be a Water Gun Lantern. Lantern is a Pokemon I haven't really seen too much this season, but the best thing about this is that means our Dunsparce is actually a bit of a core breaker here. It looks like, though, Drill Run is not going to be quite enough to knock them out at that range, so I do have to overfarm a little bit. I think I see the win condition. I know that Surf is a little bit more slow charging than it was in the past. I need a perfect amount of energy to come out of this matchup, so I'm going to have to undercharge this move. I'm going to have to go for a full rollout down here, and as long as I have enough energy to get to 2 drill runs before they're going to be able to either powder snow me down or get to another ice punch, we should be able to win this game. We do get 1 drill run through, we're 1 rollout away from the next. As long as they don't get their next ice punch in 1 move, we can land this next attack here, hopefully knock them out, and if not, we have an Aerial Ace loaded on our Shadow Jumpluff, and we can try to combo play them. We do end up swapping, but they call the combo play here. They go for the ice punch. Is this enough to knock out our Shadow Jumpluff? We are just bulky enough to survive on 1 HP. We get this ace off. The energy on Jumpluff actually coming in handy here, knocking out the Shadow Alolan Sandslash and taking us a win, just barely against a very hard counter team. Well, in the next match here, against a Shadow Alolan Ninetales, if this is Charm, it's alright. If it's Powder Snow, it's kind of really bad for us. It looks like this one is running Charm, though, so we do take a lot of fast move pressure, but obviously they have a lot less charge move pressure, and it's not going to be very super effective here with Charm rather than Powder Snow, so we do go for the Energy Ball. They actually end up shielding that move, and once again, we are going to shield up this Weather Ball. I don't want to get one shot, and I want to get another Energy Ball off. I think after that defense drop that we got, we might actually knock them out here with the next move. I throw instantly. I just want to make sure we can knock this out, keep a bit of health on our Shadow Jumpluff, and see how they want to play out this game. They do let it through. That actually is enough to knock them out here, which is going to be very interesting now. What are they going to come in with here to try to farm us down? It's going to be a Dunsparce from the looks of it. I don't want to give them full farm down, unfortunately, so we do swap to our own Dunsparce, but in the back, once again, is going to be that Diggersby. We've been talking about it. Diggersby, one of the best answers here to our Dunsparce. Anytime that you either force Dunsparce to throw Rock Slide or you resist the rollout damage, it makes it so for Dunsparce to be a very uncomfortable matchup, and this time Diggersby, it's bulky, it resists rollout, and it's going to make it so not only are we going to have to throw 4 drill runs here, we have almost no fast move pressure. There's no way we farm this down. It's going to be so uncomfortable for us to deal with, especially if they get a debuff with Scorching Sands, which fortunately they do not get there, but they are getting a lot of energy. They have a lot of energy on their Dunsparce as well. I'm not quite certain how I can win this game at this point, knowing how much energy they have, and knowing at this point they're going to be able to just probably sweep with Dunsparce. Tried to catch a move here with our Diggersby, or with our Jumpluff, but the Diggersby does throw a Fire Punch against us there, not a Scorching Sands. We have our Feraligatr, but this is not fast move farm down range. As I said, no fast move pressure against Diggersby with this team, so it can be a little bit uncomfortable in these late game scenarios. They throw a move against our Shadow Feraligatr here. I'm going to try to land a Hydro Cannon. If they let this through, that's probably going to be the most amount of damage I can get off against this, so it's going to be kind of good for me. But they have so much energy, I don't think it's really going to matter. They also have energy on that Diggersby, so it's going to be such an uncomfortable endgame. They do have another move, they're throwing it right at the last second. I have a Hydro Cannon loaded, but I also know that at this point, I don't think that I have enough in the tank here to knock out both this Dunsparce and also that Diggersby. I throw this move, we do get the shield. If I can get a catch and maybe get a move off, we don't get the catch though. They end up over farming here with their Diggersby, and we do get this move off, but I know they're almost at 2 moves on their own Dunsparce. They already have 1. They're going to overfarm here perfectly to make sure that they have 2 drill runs coming out of this matchup. The first drill run is easily going to knock out our Dunsparce, and likely the next one is going to be thrown into our Shadow Feraligatr, and despite having a little bit of energy, we were 3 Shadow Claws away from having another move. They do knock us out here, and Dunsparce proving with a lot of energy there why it can be such a powerful threat. Alright, next game, Shadow Jumpluff. This is a very bad lead against the Licky. They have rollout, obviously. It's going to do a lot of fast move pressure, but if they're not running Shadow Ball or something, it's only going to be Body Slams that they throw, and that was only 3 rollouts. I know for a fact this is just a Body Slam. I think at this point, Jumpluff might actually be able to win the Zero Shield matchup, despite taking a lot of fast move pressure here, just because Body Slam is not a great move, and because I think I might be able to 2-shot them here if I go for these Energy Balls. Energy Ball does land, and it does get the defense drop as well, but I don't think that really matters. It doesn't put it into Aerial Ace range, at least not yet, but it also is just going to guarantee that I can knock them out here with the next Energy Ball of our own, and now we are going to throw it right before they get to the next Body Slam. If they no shield, this is going to knock them out. If they end up shielding, then I guess I just let it go and take the shield advantage, but they let them move through, and in comes their Drifblim. I can go for this Aerial Ace here. It is going to put them kind of low at this point, put them close to probably about 2/3 of their health. Yeah, it looks like they're just about above half at this point after those Fairy Winds as well. We can come in Dunsparce, absorb all of their energy, and hopefully win this game. But in the back, it is a catastrophically bad Pokemon here. It's going to be that Poliwrath, one of the worst answers for us to see to our backline. Jumpluff needed to be here, but unfortunately our Dunsparce and our Shadow Feraligatr are going to have to try to overcome this Pokemon. It's going to be very tough if we can. I need one of these Hydro Cannons to land. Hydro is going to be the most damaging move I can get off against this. Our opponent does let that move through. I need to get as much fast move pressure as I can against this, and now I know my win condition. They go for an alignment throw here, and now I get a full sneak of that rollout, and hopefully I shield up a proper move. Looks like they go for a dynamic punch. That is very interesting. I was expecting a spamming out of the Icy Winds, but we will take that any day of the week here. Icy Wind there does come through. I'm going to go for the rollout here into the Rock Slide to make sure that if they did catch, I'd land a Rock Slide on that other Pokemon, that Drifblim, and if they didn't, that I'd at least get the shield here. You get the full rollout down, which is huge for us to see. We go for the Rock Slide here on CMP, and now we're going to try our best to knock this out. I know we are debuffed. This one Rock Slide is probably not going to knock them out here, but if we can get to another rollout here, or another Rock Slide rather, we will be able to take the game. We are 3, I think, away at this point. Can we get it? 1, 2, 3. We get the move right there, and now we are going to be able to win this game using our Dunsparce to not only knock out that Poliwrath, but to take out this Drifblim. GG's to our opponent. Very interesting team. I don't know what these Poliwraths are doing. So many Poliwraths recently. Very uncomfortable for our team, but we were able to overcome them, I guess, for the most part here. An Azumarill once again in the lead. This time, though, they instantly swap out to a Clodsire. I don't have a hard wall, like a Gastrodon or something like that, but I do have a Shadow Feraligatr, which, for all intents and purposes, is a pretty good answer here. We will shield this move, but they do bait us with a Sludge Bomb. I'm going to try my best to get shields back to knock out this Clodsire, because I know after this thing's gone, it's going to make it so that we have a lot more play with our Jumpluff, and they do end up shielding that first move. We have another Hydro we could have thrown there, but I know at this point that it wouldn't really knock out. I want to overfarm if they end up trying to swap out, and if they don't swap out, then I want to make sure that I can actually land the move where I want it to be. The switch clocks will be up now, so we have to keep that in mind. If they do end up coming back in with that Azumarill, we have to make sure that they are not going to be able to get too much out of this. They do end up catching this Hydro Cannon, actually. But I'm kind of fine with this, because this chips it down closer to range where Energy Ball will knock them out, and I know I can also overfarm here all the way back up, not only to 5 Shadow Claws there to get our move back, but all the way up to 7 Shadow Claws. So we're coming out of that matchup with a little bit more energy. I know I can survive this move. It's only an Ice Beam. I say as we take a ton of our health with our Grass-type Pokemon, we're going to go for the Energy Ball, hope this knocks out. If this doesn't knock out, if they survive on 1 HP, that's going to be very awkward, which they exactly are going to do. That Azumarill must be a very high-ranked Pokemon. This move will knock us out, but we can probably get a farm down with either our Dunsparce or with our Shadow Feraligatr. Okay, it looks like they're actually expecting us to farm down with the Feraligatr, because they come back in instant with Clodsire, and we are going to be able to come back in with our own Shadow Feraligatr, farm a little more energy, and now as long as we can have a bit of play in the back against their final Pokemon, we should be in a good spot. It's going to really depend on what it is. They have a catch potentially available with that Azumarill, so if they make a catch, this game is going to be very uncomfortable. What is their final pick? There it is. It's a Dark and Psychic type Pokemon, Mr. Malamar, the malicious Calamari Pokemon. It's going to be a very tricky Pokemon to overcome here because they have superpower. They've already tripped us down with that, I think it was a Sludge Bomb they threw against us, and now I have a very tough call to make. I can either throw the Drill Run immediately, calling that they won't catch, or I can go for a rollout here. What am I going to do? I am going to do so instantly. I knew a catch could happen, but I took the risk that they wouldn't call that I'd throw instantly, and we knock out this Malamar right before they get another superpower. We roll out down the Azumarill, and we can take the win there just barely against a very strong opponent. I think that actually gets us a 3-2 set here. Today, I only had the ability to get 15 battles in with how bad the queue times were. I got a 5-0 in the first set, 3-2, then 3-2, and this literally gets us +0 elo gain on that set. It's what happens, I guess, when you go up in the top of the leaderboard, but it's kind of annoying when you're the one playing it out. You're trying to climb, you're getting 3-2s, but you're gaining nothing. The set after this, actually, I went 3-2 again. I lost 4 points for it. So it's a very rough life trying to be a leaderboarder, but I'm very close to Legend at this point. Just one good set away at this point. So I hope I can get it tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. I actually stream these kinds of battles basically every day at twitch.tv/ItsAXN. So if you like watching this kind of content, you want to see it live, make sure to check me out there. But thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.